3 years ago. Chapter 5. Today was graduation day. Duncan went to the American Film Institute located in LA. He wanted to be a famous actor. He made the connections that he needed to get started. Right now, he was preparing to walk across that stage and show the world he did it. His cousin and longtime friend Olivia was going to be there. He got to see her yesterday to help him pack the rest of his stuff. "So who's coming tomorrow?" "Well," Olivia began, "they have better things to do, you know. And it's too far from our place." Duncan laughed. That Aunt Paula impression's too good. For years, Duncan dealt with more than half of the family hating him, Aunt Paula being one of them. He was half Japanese and half Vietnamese. He had 4 relatives who fought in World War II and went to Vietnam. They weren't very happy with this, so they decided to turn most of the family against him. Family gatherings weren't the best times for him. It would end up with him drawing in a corner somewhere or watching parents steer their kids away from wherever he was. Today was a special day. His birthday. He was turning 8. He found out that everyone was going to show up. "But Mommy, I don't like it when the mean people are there." "I know, Dunks, but I think today will be a little bit different." He rolled his eyes. "How?" "Well," she began, "some of them aren't going to be at your party." Not knowing what else to say, he entered the skating station. "At least I get to skate," he thought. His mother was right. There were no mean people there, not even Aunt Paula. Instead, there were about 2 families. He looked around. Who were these people? Did the mean people scare them away too, he thought? A few hours passed and Duncan decided to take a break. He threw his skates off and found a table. A girl came and sat across from him. Taken aback, Duncan looked past her shoulder, expecting to see a glaring mom or dad following right behind. Not this time. The girl had long blonde hair, blue eyes, and glasses. This was new. "I'm Duncan," he said. "I'm Olivia. You're not that scary." "Oh yeah? Roar." That made her laugh. "Yeah," Olivia said. "It's going to be both our families." Duncan shrugged. "Oh, well, fine with me." The next day, Olivia helped Duncan dress all fancy. "Good luck," she smiled. "I'll try not to trip on the way up." Duncan waited in the line with all of his other peers. The line slowly moved as names were being called. As he got closer to the stage, he saw the president standing with the dean and a couple of officials. There was another man there with them. He was bald and had a thick beard. Duncan looked at him again. "Why is Paul Heyman here?" Paul Heyman was a professional wrestler in the 80s. Now he is a WWE promoter and commentator. Every now and then he would observe the students and write something in a notebook. Maybe he'll pick me, Duncan thought. And the next to graduate is Duncan Spicer. Duncan walked onto the carpet and grabbed the paper from the president. The president smiled. "You made it, Duncan. How do you feel?" Duncan gave him a thumbs up. Looking back, he noticed Paul Heyman closing the notebook. Duncan exited the auditorium to meet Olivia, who hugged him. They went to a restaurant to celebrate. "I saw Paul Heyman. He was with the dean and president." Olivia thought for a minute. "Is that who that was? I thought he looked familiar. What was he doing there?" Duncan shrugged. "Beats me. I think he was looking for possible stars. He looked at me longer than he did anyone else." "Ooh, that sounds promising." "I hope so. Hopefully he'll contact me." Olivia smiled. "Good luck." Back in the present. "What a way to excite things," Monty said. "We've got a lot of competitors, and they're all wanting that heavyweight champion belt. Let's see who is next. Before we get started, let's check in with some of the stars backstage." Isaiah was furious. He was in the middle of changing into his Rev outfit when Duncan walked into the locker room. "The Demolition Man has returned." "You got a problem with that? Your dad got what he deserved." "That's the bishop to you," Isaiah snapped. "Whatever. There's one thing you don't do that's bringing my family into this, let alone my cousin. He went too far and you know it. Even Paul Heyman tried to stop you." Isaiah laughed. "You know what happens to anyone who gets in his way." Duncan frowned. "Yeah, I left because of him. Now I have to deal with the mistake that is you." Isaiah glared. "What you gonna do, send mankind after me?" "I don't work with goons," Duncan said. "If you want to settle this right now, I'd be happy to." "Looks like the heavyweight qualification matches have gone off the rails. What surprises will Monday night bring? Stick around to find out," Monty said. "Are you sure?" Paul Heyman was talking on the phone with some of the WWE officials. "I'd have to sign off this match. It happened so soon." There was a break. "We have to continue the qualification round." There was a break. "I'll tell them." Back in the stadium, the fans waited. Just then, someone appeared. It was Paul Heyman. "Ladies and gentlemen, I am the wise man. Paul Heyman, the crowd said along with him. It seems that there has been some rivalry going on between some of the stars backstage. The thing is, we're in the middle of the heavyweight champion qualifying rounds. He paused to let the audience cheer and soak the information in. On behalf of their request, we have to keep things on schedule. Some people began to chant, "Bring them out! Bring them out! Bring them out!" Heyman's phone vibrated in his suit pocket. He picked it up. "Yes. Right now?" He nodded and hung up. "Change of plans. I welcome a returning star himself, the Demolition Man, Dangerous Duncan." There was a 30-foot of glass closing off the entrance of the ring. It was designed to break without putting anyone in danger. A few minutes later, someone's theme music played. There was a sound like a chain rattling, then something hitting the glass. It was a ball and chain. Dangerous Duncan came barreling through after it, shattering the wall. He was shirtless, and he wore black boots with leather shorts. He had a sledgehammer strapped across his back. "Duncan," Olivia said aloud. She wasn't dressed up. She was in the audience. The crowd went wild. And here he is, the returning star Dangerous Duncan himself. Coming in at 255 pounds, you'll wish you never crossed paths with him. The Rev's theme music played. He confidently walked out to the boos of the crowd. He took his time making his way up to the mic. "Brothers and sisters," he motioned with his hands for silence. "It is a pleasure to return to you once again. I am deeply honored. However," the crowd jeered. "However, I would like to address something in the room. My father, you all know him as the bishop." The crowd cut him off again. They grew in volume, drowning him out. "Wait a minute, let him speak," the ring general said. "My father did something in his past that unfortunately some people still remember to this day." Why did that name sound familiar? A memory came to the surface. It was about a year ago. A cloud of smoke filled her vision. It was in the middle of the night. She woke up to a loud crackling sound. Then she saw it. It was smoke, and the house was going down in flames. She quickly got out of her bed and made her way out of the door. The air was so thick and heavy she used the blanket she had wrapped around her to cover her face. It didn't help at all. She made her way through the flames as fast as she could. It was scorching hot. She could feel herself sweating. The sounds of sirens filled the air. She started fading in and out of reality. The last thing she saw were the faces of people coming towards her, then nothing. She snapped back to reality when someone tapped her on the shoulder. It was the green hand of Clarination. "Hey, you all right? You good?" Olivia saw Duncan staring daggers into the Reverend. "I'll be fine," Olivia said shakily. "You don't look too good." The Rev recomposed himself. "It is unfortunate that some people had to get hurt." He paused to think. He did what he did to show an example to those who get in his way. "Brothers and sisters, I say to you that in order to win, you must do what's right to take what is yours." He paused. "Do what must be done so that—" A right hand delivered by Duncan cut him off. The Rev turned around to attempt to defend himself. Duncan didn't allow this. He swept the Rev's legs out from underneath him, causing him to fall onto his back. He wrapped his arms around his waist. Throwing his body backwards, he tossed the Rev over his head and onto his back. This was called a German suplex. The Rev slammed into the ropes. He wasn't done. He slammed the Rev's face down into the mat. Hooking his arms around him, he lifted him up. He placed one of his legs on top of his neck and head. He applied a little pressure, causing the Rev to wince. This was the move that caused his father to submit. The Rev tried fighting, but it was no use. "The Demolition Man is not playing around," Monty said. "The Corey Special, or 169, was the same move that put the Rev's father away years ago." The ring general began to count, slamming his hand on the ring as he did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The bell rang. "And your winner by submission is the Demolition Man, Dangerous Duncan."